A new series of Doctor Who does of course bring a new line of Doctor Who merchandise, as in today's review I'm going to be taking a look at the first of a number of releases from Character Options from Doctor Who Series 12, starting off with the electronic 13th Doctor's Tardis, which has just been released. The recommended retail is £24.99 and it is available from a number of different retailers, including Forbidden Planet, Character Options Online, as well as Amazon. This isn't exclusive to any stores, therefore no doubt the majority of Doctor Who stockists of toys will no doubt be getting this product in at some point. It is rather exciting to have another new series variation of TARDIS to add to the collection, although the sculpt itself is in fact rather familiar. Now this product has of course been rumoured now for I do believe over a year. Originally Character Options did in fact post a few images of it over social media, and it was in fact originally meant to be a brand new sculpt with a brand new set of windows, with of course generally overall a brand new scale of box with completely different dimensions to the product that you see before your eyes. This is in fact quite obviously the classic series variation of TARDIS box that was originally a Forbidden Planet exclusive, and in more recent years has of course become a B&M exclusive with a number of different Doctors with a number of different paint applications. This is kind of a blend between the two, with a few new additions added in there to make it look like the 13th Doctor's TARDIS, or at least give the appearance of the prop as seen within the TV show itself. However, naturally, due to it using the classic series box dimensions, it doesn't look 100% accurate. So the first thing to note is of course we now have a brand new version of box that is seen for the 13th Doctor era products. It does now seem that the box that we did see with the original 13th Doctor 5.5 action figure has now been shelved entirely, and we have in fact the B&M 5.5 style guide coming across to these releases, which I don't mind. To be quite honest, I like it a lot more, and generally it looks a lot more stylish. The bottom of the box does feature the Character Options logo along with the title of the product, also stating that this is an electronic TARDIS with lights and sound effects. There's also a bubble just above this that does once more state that this product has opening doors, how incredibly riveting, alongside a takeoff and landing light and sounds effects. They're really pushing the lights and sounds this time round, which, not gonna lie, for £24.99 I don't blame them. The top of the box does feature the stacked variation of Doctor Who logo along with a graphic of the TARDIS, which does also continue around to the side of the box in a rather similar manner to that of the Robert Harrop limited edition statues. A nice touch and once again rather stylish. On the opposite side of the box you do have a window giving a clear view to the product itself at all different angles, and then the opposite side has the same information printed once again. Oh look, it's got opening doors and take-off lights and sound effects. I never knew that already. The back of the box does feature a similar layout to all the other products within the Doctor Who series, featuring an image of the product itself and a bubble stating that it's got opening doors, and I'm going to ignore that joke now. And we do also have a write-up about the TARDIS itself. I do rather like the inclusion of this write-up, giving a brief history of the TARDIS, and generally it pads out the back of the box rather well, and I would like to see this on the B&M collector sets in the future. Opening up the packaging now, from what I can tell on the inside we have a little bit of a reference to that of the Ghost Monument, with of course the TARDIS being sat on a background of a rather hilly looking landscape, even with the inclusion of the TARDIS reflected in a puddle, which is a really cool touch. So here we have the police box out of the packaging, and overall it is a bit of a mishmash really between classic series and new series, which overall is a little bit of a shame, given that the series 11 and 12 TARDIS is arguably one of the most unique and visually appealing TARDISes to be seen within new series Doctor Who. Although it is still nice that we do get to see a variation of TARDIS that has some resemblance to that of the 13th Doctor's TARDIS. It is very evident that this TARDIS has been created on a budget. However, it is nice to see that some modifications have been made to make this product look as best as possible like the actual one from the TV show. Naturally, of course, the original prototype for the 13th Doctor TARDIS was better than this. We did have some gratings on the windows to reflect the design from series 11 and 12. We did of course also have an upgraded lantern, which is present here, but I do believe it was ever so slightly more accurate. And there was also a few changes to the dimensions overall of the box itself, looking like very much a blend between classic series and new series Doctor Who. However, of course, this will do. Don't get me wrong, this box is a rather visually appealing one and will look great along the shelf alongside the other classic series boxes. However, of course, naturally, for those sticklers of accuracy out there, it will not be for you. Oh, and as an additional side note, if you decide to make the commute to go and buy this product, make sure that you also stop by at a local shop that stocks batteries, because this TARDIS does of course take 3 AAAs, which aren't supplied with this product. So starting off at the bottom of the police box and working our way up, we do of course have the thick variation of TARDIS base seen on the vast majority of the early Classic Series TARDIS boxes, and this is not the new edited B&M variation as seen on the 5th Doctor and Rosanni TARDIS released in 2019. This of course does have a slight tapered effect running up to the top, however overall is rather bulky. The rest of the box does of course follow for the most part the body of a normal Classic Series TARDIS box, and therefore much like the base has a surround of this wood grain effect, having different details of the etched wooden design to give the box a nice wooden looking texture. Overall, the box itself has received a brand new set of paint applications. The overall blue of the box is very unique compared to the other new series boxes. It's kind of a blend between the lighter blue of the 10th Doctor box and the darker blue of the early Series 5 11th Doctor box. It's very much like a Classic Series box overall, however, in its paint application, including a black wash over the box itself, really nicely highlighting some of the wood-grained effects. This is especially seen around the columns here on the different panels, with the darker paint collecting in the sides. As you would expect, and pretty much like every other Character Options TARDIS box, the detailing is generally shared on all 4 sides of the box itself, so we just have the individual panels with the wood-grained effect spread throughout the entirety of the box, and then of course the wash applied over this. On the back of this we do of course also have the inclusion of the rather ugly looking speaker grille, as well as the battery compartment, which does seem to be rather heavily coated in the wash of paint. Zooming in to take a closer look at the front of the box, we have all of the details that you would come to expect on a Classic Series TARDIS really. We have the inclusion of the handle, which has been painted silver, along with the lock sculpted ever so slightly above this, once again painted with the silver paint app. We do also have the pull to open sign, which is a brand new sculpt. Yay! Bonus points. Basically looks very similar to that of the other Classic Series TARDISes, however this time round the handle has in fact swapped sides. It is nice to see that the handle itself has also been given a silver paint app, and we do have a border of blue around the Police Public Call Box pull to open sign in general. I believe it might in fact be a sticker, but it is a rather high quality sticker, and I imagine if you keep this box safe, probably on display on a shelf or something like that, it wouldn't really peel off. It is definitely stuck on well, and of course it is a rather high quality sticker, meaning that you can of course read all the text on it. As per usual, and very much like the Series 11 and 12 TARDIS, we have a black background with white text, which is unlike any other new series TARDIS, and returns back to the style of quite a few of the Classic Series boxes. Moving ever so slightly up, we have the inclusion of the Tardis Windows. Now these are the same sculpt to the Classic Series boxes, however the paint application on these has been rather heavily revised to look pretty much like a completely different set of windows. This time round we have an absence of the dirt effect that has been seen on the vast majority of B&M exclusive TARDIS exterior boxes from the past few years, and we do of course have a silver pane effect that has been added around the sides of each window pane. This is rather nice and generally has been painted rather well and does certainly stand out, and of course the window panes themselves are just a clear plastic. As per usual, due to this following a Classic Series TARDIS box sculpt, we of course have the frosted window effect on the bottom corner panes, and of course the rest of the panes in a T-shape are just a standard clear plastic with no detailing on them. Of course, comparing this to the box as seen throughout Series 11 and 12, the windows are very unique, in fact probably some of the most unique TARDIS windows seen throughout the history of the show, as they do have a corrugated effect across all of the panes, which obviously does not reflect this design seen on this toy. One of the main things that has disappointed fans due to the reuse of the Classic Series TARDIS box is the absence of a very unique and individual design to the 13th Doctor TARDIS prop. It is of course the inclusion of the grooves at the top half of the sides of the TARDIS, which are also normally featured at the bottom as well, around here. Sadly of course due to the reuse in sculpt, these are no longer included, unlike the original prototype for the 13th Doctor TARDIS. I imagined at start they may have in fact somehow tried to do a paint paint application to make it look like they are there. Naturally, of course, they haven't retooled this box to do that, because probably it will be quite expensive to do so, and because of the new parts that have been sculpted especially for this TARDIS, it does possibly open the boundaries of possibility to use this sculpt in the future on some classic series boxes. I'm maybe thinking a Paul McGann one from the movie. As per usual, the top of the box does feature your normal police public call box signage on all four sides. Once more, we do have a black background and of course the white text above this. Unlike some of the previous new series boxes, this doesn't light up due to it using the classic box sculpt. And I do believe that this is in fact a sticker or something that has been added over the top, very much like the pull to open sign. Either way, it seemed to be stuck in place rather well, and I imagined that it wouldn't really come off unless you really tried to peel it, which I do not advise. And finally, moving up to the very top of the box, we have the inclusion of the roof, which from what I can tell is once again, I do believe, a slight tweak in the sculpt, which is brilliant. I'm happy that they've done a few tweaks in there just to make it look a little bit more like the prop from the TV show. Overall, if you're just a regular Doctor Who fan who doesn't really look too much in detail, you probably couldn't tell that this was new at all. However, from what I can see, it is ever so slightly different. We have the inclusion of a brand new stack in the very middle to give the 13th Doctor's TARDIS an extra row compared to some of the previous classic series boxes, and as per usual we do have these stumps at either side to indicate the top of the corner piece sections. Generally, the texture on this does also seem to be ever so slightly revised, seeming to have a rather stippled effect compared to that of the wood grain design on the rest of the box. I do believe this is because they tried to give this box the impression of it being made of concrete as opposed to wood, which was not an unusual design choice, although I do believe accurate to the history overall of police public call boxes. Once more, much like the rest of the box, a black wash has been applied over the top of this, which is nicely collected on each individual row of the stacks underneath, bringing out a few of those details, especially within this stippled design at the top. And finally, of course, the main requirement of the Ghost Monument, as the 13th Doctor does call it, we have the lantern at the very top, which is also a new sculpt. Yay! We have this rather almost camping light kind of design, which I must admit I'm not really much of a fan of within the show itself. I think it looks just a little bit too bulky and ugly. Of course, the classic series boxes do normally have a little stand just below this. This is now completely absent due to it being a new sculpt. It now just runs from the roof directly into the light. And we do have a few panels around this, including the base and of course these corner pieces on each side. As the box does state 5,000 times, as with the majority of TARDISes, the doors do open. Much like any other classic series TARDIS box, you do have the main door with the button there at the very bottom that you can press to release it, and the opposite door does of course open as well. Now, one of the other criticisms that people do have is the absence of the inside interior, which in a way is kind of a positive and a negative for me. I'm kind of a little bit divided by it. I think it would have been nice if they could somehow paint the inside of the box white to look like the inner alcove almost of the current 13th Doctor TARDIS console room. An alternative option would of course, much like the new series TARDISes, would be to have a backdrop in there made out of card to look like the TARDIS console room is in there. However, that hasn't been included. I'm presuming there is a reason for this. The most likely reason it hasn't been included is probably down to costs. However, you can of course make one yourself or download one. I do believe in fact they put one up on Gallifrey base that you can print out if you so wish. I suppose it's not too much of a deal, and if you're really bothered, as I say, you can make your own. Close the doors. This one is manual, so you actually need to pull it, and then of course you press this button at the bottom to release. Unlike the new series TARDISes, of course, such as the 10th and 11th Doctor ones, there is no interior sound effects for when you open the doors or lights. And the second feature is of course lights and sounds, which I imagine is going to be one of the main reasons why this box will sell quite a lot, because I imagine a few people will be purchasing it in order to customise it into a classic series TARDIS, as it is the first ever time since the Forbidden Planet exclusive releases a number of years ago that we've seen the classic series TARDIS sculpt with electronics on the inside, and is no doubt the main reason why this TARDIS is a whole £24. So taking a look at the lights and sound effects, of course we have of course a switch there at the very bottom with a little nodule piece which does of course trigger the lights and sounds when it does of course land. There we go, haven't you all heard that sound effect at least 5 trillion times before? So that is of course the landing effect for the TARDIS, which I do believe is the shorter variation, and then of course naturally when you pick it up it does the other sound effect. No prizes for guessing how this one sounds. There we go. Goes on a little bit, doesn't it? But yeah, that is the lights and sound effects. It is exactly the same to that of pretty much all of the new series boxes, sadly. I don't quite know if the 13th Doctor TARDIS has a unique sound when it comes to the dematerialisation and materialisation sounds. Either way, it's the same sound chip as always, and yeah, it's not exactly that riveting, but it's nice nevertheless to see it included once again. And of course the light does naturally flash quite a lot. This time around it is a blue. Once again, I think that might be a unique thing for this TARDIS, and due to the plastic being clear, of course that does light up rather nicely. And once you have activated the sound effects, it does continue to pulsate like this, I do believe for a number of minutes before going into standby mode. And that is it pretty much for the special features. The TARDIS is of course in scale with all of your other 5.5 action figures from Doctor Who, neither of which I can in fact compare to this TARDIS at the minute, due to me being at university. So if you have a 13th Doctor figure, just imagine it being right here, because it will no doubt look lovely alongside this TARDIS when on display, along with of course the other Doctor Who Series 12 action figures on the way, I do believe at the end of February 2020. So overall, for the Doctor Who Series 11 and 12 13th Doctor's TARDIS with electronic lights and sound effects, it is an unusual product. It is essentially a Frankenstein TARDIS built up from pre-existing parts with a few retooled pieces added in there to look a little bit like the TARDIS as seen throughout new series Doctor Who. And for £24.99, my honest recommendation is maybe hold off a little bit. If you are excited by this product and like the look of it, then by all means go out and get it. Currently it is available from the majority of toy shops that stock Doctor Who merchandise. It is a lovely piece. However, if you feel like you can wait, if it's not an essential purchase to add to your Doctor Who collection, then I would definitely recommend doing so. Wait until the prices came down ever so slightly, because I don't personally think this product is worth £25. I think at a push 20 at most, especially given that of course with the B&M collector sets you would normally get a TARDIS and a whole action figure for £20. Therefore maybe it would have been nice to see a 13th Doctor figure, a slight variant added within this set. No doubt there is a variation of rainbow shirt that could have done just maybe to bulk this set out a bit for £25, as opposed to it just being the TARDIS, especially considering that it is of course this version that is the pre-existing classic series TARDIS box. If you are somebody who likes TV 100% accuracy, then this product without a doubt is not for you. However, for the casual fan that simply just wants a cool looking TARDIS to add to their collection, then this is a nice product, and one of which that no doubt the day-to-day fan will not see as inaccurate at all, simply down to the fact that the inaccuracies are things that you need to see if you look incredibly close and compare this product to TV photos of the actual prop on set, which, let's face it, only saddos like us collectors do anyway. Especially given that there is a wave of Doctor Who Series 12 action figures on the way, including of course the Jadoon Captain, as well as the Reconnaissance Dalek. Maybe hold off a little bit, see those products in hand, especially if you've got a limited amount of cash, and balance up what would you like most with your money. Because not gonna lie, I think that the Reconnaissance Dalek is gonna be probably one of the most popular figures that has been released over the past few years. Thank you very much for watching this review. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any questions about this product, please do feel free to leave them in the comments section below, and I'll try my best to answer them at some point in the near future. And naturally do of course stay tuned on Host Productions for brand new Doctor Who content every single week, from Doctor Who product reviews to Big Finish audio dramas and books and everything else, as well as of course my weekly Doctor Who Series 12 episode reviews. So thank you very much for watching, have a nice day, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.